Hello all. Good afternoon. Hopefully you guys are having a good afternoon so far. Anyway, so let's move on. Today I'm going to show you guys lecture notes on how to insert quotes into your essay. You have to use this format for every single quote that you put in your essay. Do not try to skimp or scamp. Don't try to remix it. Just do it exactly how I'm giving instruction on how to do it. Now, I'm not doing this in a dictator type of way. It's just that this is the most fluent way to insert quotes into your essay. And if it's fluent, that means it's probably more coherent, which means it's would get a higher grade because it's more coherent. Okay? So I'm going to go through step by step. You guys will have access to these notes in a PDF format of these notes that you see here. You'll have access to that in course information, and that should be directly above the video that I'm creating right now. Okay, so let's move on. So here is our wonderful, beautiful, ugly sandwich. It's dry. I tried to pick a sandwich that wasn't too appetizing because I'm not trying to make you guys hungry while I'm lecturing. But moving right along. So this is our sandwich, and we think about a sandwich. It has three main parts. We have the top bun, this guy right here, the meat or whatever's in the middle, and the bottom bun, this guy down here. So the top bun is going to be, if we're going to think about putting this in a visual, it's going to be our first sentence is going to be the lead-in. The second sentence is going to be the direct quotation. And the final sentence, the third sentence, is going to be the analysis. Okay? So there's only three sentences. Not two, not one, not four, but three. Okay? So moving right along. Now I have notes to kind of break it down step by step so you guys kind of know what exactly goes where. Okay? Excuse my hand. Going right along. I'm going to make this bigger because Miss Walton needs glasses and I'm in denial. So moving right along. How to use this sandwich as a development technique. First, what we're going to do is our top bun, our lead-in. Remember that was the first part of it, the first sentence. The first sentence is going to have, you're going to give either the source's name or the organization. If the source is not written by a single person or a group of authors, is usually written by an organization like PETA or like Writers something Guild, I don't know, but there's usually like an organization like a corporate author. Okay, so the first part is going to be the name. The second part is going to be the source's credentials, so the author's credentials. Sometimes in your scholarly articles, most people who are writing scholarly articles want you to know they know their junk. So a lot of their stuff will be Dr. Brown, Doctor of Dermatology, something, something. They'll tell you exactly who they are most of the time. But if that's not the case, you'll have to look your person up on a Google search to find out who they are. It shouldn't be too hard to do that. It may take a little bit of digging to find out who it is, but you do have to have their credentials. Why, Miss Walton? I'm so glad you asked. Because you want the person who's talking about stuff in your essay to be a credible source. If they look like if they don't have any credentials, if they're not someone who's well researched in the field, it's like the source in and of itself looks questionable, which makes your essay look questionable. Okay, so you want to make sure that they have some kind of area of expertise in their credentials. Okay, next you're going to give the title of the source, the book, the article. So your source may be an article, maybe a book, maybe a video, podcast, whatever. You're going to give the title and then give an overall view of what that source or what that sentence is going to tell me or that quote is going to tell me. Now this is all getting me ready for going into the quote. So this is all of this stuff here goes into sentence number 1 of my sandwich. Okay, so I have an example here of how that can look. The green part, which was the name, Susan Gilbert and Sandra Gubar, that's their name, Credentials. They are professors at Illinois State University and authors of Mad Woman in the Attic. So I have their credentials, they're professors at this university, and this is their title of their book. Okay? I should have probably made that a different color. And then here's a little synopsis of what this book is about. This book is 989 pages long, and I summed it up in 10 to 15 words. So you can definitely sum up a source in less than 10 words. If I can sum up 998 pages in this many words, you can sum up your article in this many words. Moving right along. Believe that 19th century British women writers wrote about repressed sexual desire. So that's what this source is about. So I have all of this. So going back to this guy right here, I have all this information and I turned it into one sentence. This is how my sentence looks. Okay? Hopefully that wasn't confusing. Moving right along. If it was, you can go back and rewind this part of the video. Okay, next is the meat, which is the quote. So for your quote, you're going to be using generally a generic type of in-text citation for MLA 8. So let's see. It's generally the quote, like whatever your sentence is, and you're going to end it with the last name of the author and the page number that the quote came from. Some of us have like an article, like a newspaper article from a SIRS or something like that. So yours isn't going to have a page number. I mean, if you would like to, you could put like your author's name and 1 if you want to. But yeah, anyway. So here's how this quote looks. I took this quote from this is my quote right here. Women like Jane Eyre from Bronte's work and Mavis Clare from Marie Corelli's work were women who were considered angels of the house because of the jobs they chose to work. Now I put Gilbert and Gubar here because they both wrote this, but here's the author's name and the page number. Notice my period does not come until this closing parentheses. Do not put a period here. It does not go here after the quote. It goes after the closing parentheses. Keep that in mind. If you put your period here, I will deduct 1 point every time you do it. Okay? So put your period here. Finally is the bottom bun where you're going to explain your quote. This is the analysis part. So I'm going to put this in my own words. Now maybe I might find that this is easy enough to understand, but I need to know that you understand what this quote means. So if you take your quote and you're going to put it in your own words, okay? So that's what the analysis part is. Generally, when you're putting it in your own words, it's going to begin with words like, in other words, what Gilbert and Gubar are saying here is, or something like that. Basically, what they're saying here is, but you want to make sure that when you're saying, in other words, directly after that, you need to put the author there. So, in other words, what Gilbert and Gubar are saying. So, whoever the author is of your quote, put their name here. Now, while this may seem very unimportant, it helps with the fluidity of your paper. So, if you just say, basically, it means this, what do you mean it means this? Connect it back to your author by putting their name there. So, I know exactly who you're talking about, okay? So, here's an example. In other words, what Gilbert and Gubar are saying here is that women in Bronte's and Corelli's work are women that assume submissive roles through submitting their career paths that were, during that time, inferior to men. Okay? So that's me taking this quote and putting it in my own words. Okay? This is the same as this. Just this is in my own words. Understand that in my own words does not mean, yo, what's up, homie from down the street, homie G-Funk dog. No, you're still got to use your formal language, okay? As you see here, I'm not using I'm not using me, I'm not using language that I would normally use if I'm talking to my friends or to a family member. You cannot do that. Not in academic writing, okay? Also, I do deduct for conversational language. Okay, make sure to review the rubric to see how much I deduct for that. Okay, now another thing you don't see me using here is, in other words, what I think Gilbert and Gubar are saying here is, and that's your first and second person pronouns. Here is a small list of first and second person pronouns: I, me, us, mine, my, our, we, etc. If you want an exhaustive list, I would suggest that you go to Google and look for first and second person pronouns. So this is first person pronouns. Second person pronouns are you, your, yourself, yourselves. Do not say y'all. Okay, those are your second person pronouns with the you. Okay, again, if you need an exhaustive list of second person pronouns, make sure you Google them, because I will deduct for first and second person pronouns usage. Okay. Also, there is a video in Blackboard that talks about how to avoid first and second person pronouns in your academic writing. Next, and it won't be available till next week, actually, but anyway, moving on. So if I wanted to take my whole sandwich and put it all together so it looks like a sandwich, okay? So you can see how the entire thing looks. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, I can't. This is, I feel badly about this, that is split up. Anyway, so this is, I'm going to see if I can do. Wait a second, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. This is a thing that I created. But this is how the entire sandwich quote looks. Can I make this bigger? No, I can't. Okay, this is how the entire sandwich quote looks. 3 sentences. 1, 2, 3 sentences. Not 1, not 2, not 4, 3. Okay? My first sentence, which is my top bun. Gilbert and Gubar, professors at such and so. So I'm introducing the source here. The next part, I'm giving the quote from this source. You guys already found your quotes. You should have found them already. And then the final part is going to be, in other words, I'm analyzing this quote. In other words, what Gilbert and Gubar are saying here is. Okay, that was the 3 examples I showed earlier in the lecture notes. So this is how the entire sandwich looks. 3 sentences. Okay. If you guys have any thoughts or questions about that, please feel free to email me. Actually, it'll be better to text me if you have my number. And we will be meeting this week for your individual student-teacher conferences on Zoom or however else we're supposed to be meeting. Okay, so good luck with that. Make sure to review your notes, and you can review this video at any time that you want to up until the essays due. You guys have a wonderful day.